What is youth development? What does it mean to you? Childhood is the most important time in any person's life. It's not only the time where we develop biologically, physically, but we're also developing cognitively, socially, mentally. We're developing skills, we're developing our identity and talents. All of these developmental processes that take place during childhood create a foundation that affects our thoughts and behaviors and our personality for the rest of our lives. Or, in other words, a social map is created during this time in which we draw references from in the future. And the things that we experience during this developmental phase are also incorporated into this foundation or social map. Because the experiences that take place during childhood draw on a child's social maps, experiences during this developmental period have a huge impact on a person for the rest of their lives. For example, trauma has a huge effect on people if they experience it early on in life, because that's the time period where the brain is still undergoing rapid developmental processes. For example, a child who experiences rejection by their parents at a really young age, that draws on their social maps and that is incorporated into their developmental foundation. And in the future, they may have trouble connecting with people and having positive relationships because they expect to be rejected because of their past experiences. And that's why healthy youth development is so important, because it creates this foundation that affects our behavior, our actions, our personality for the rest of our lives. If you had to pick two principles to guide you while working with at-risk youth, what would they be and why? A major principle would be acceptance or understanding. Another would be consistency or fairness. When dealing with at-risk youth, I think that rejection is a huge issue that they have. They've experienced this on a consistent basis where it becomes the norm for them. They expect to be rejected. They expect people to not accept them or understand them. So I think that showing acceptance and understanding can change these beliefs that they've held about others and about themselves. Having consistency and fairness not only solidifies and confirms these new positive experiences, but it also provides youth with a sense of security, which is extremely important in facilitating positive youth development. Kids need to feel safe and secure in order to thrive. And being consistent and fair can cause children to feel safe and secure. What has been your most powerful aha moment or light bulb moment you've had in this class? I would say learning about the ACE study, or adverse childhood experiences, how trauma affects development and health. There was a study that was done that showed that people with higher ACE scores, or who had experienced more adverse childhood experiences, had worse health outcomes later on in life. For a person with an ACE score of 4 or more, the risk of chronic obstructive pulmonary disease was 2.5 times more than that of someone with an ACE score of 0. For hepatitis, there was a 2.5 times more risk. For depression, it was 4.5 times more. And for suicidality, it was 12 times more. For someone with an ACE score of 7 or more, they had triple the lifetime risk of lung cancer and 3.5 times the risk of ischemic heart disease. It also showed how exposure to early adversity affects the developing brains and bodies of children. It affects the pleasure and reward center of the brain, which is involved in substance dependence. It inhibits the prefrontal cortex, which involves impulse control. There's differences in the brain's fear response center, and it also affects the brain's and body's stress response system that governs fight or flight response. And that children are sensitive to this repeated stress activation because they're still developing, so it can cause issues later on. We can see how people who have experienced trauma in their lives, how they are affected emotionally and physically later on in life. We can see it, but this study gives us the science behind it and defines it. It should change everything about how we treat people medically. Also, another interesting thing that I learned about that makes a ton of sense are the 3 secrets: Snowden's secret, Dentrell's secret, and Milgram's secret. And when kids learn these secrets at an early age, it can cause PTSD. Snowden's secret is that the human body is actually very fragile. And kids learn this secret when they see people being killed, whether it's in reality or in a movie. Dantrell's secret is that adults can't protect you and you're on your own. And kids learn this secret when they have absent parents. Wilgham's secret is the willingness of normal adults to inflict torture on others if they are ordered to do so or believe that there is some other justification. And therefore they learn that when it comes to violence, anything is possible. Kids who learn these secrets at a young age can develop PTSD symptoms such as sleep disturbances, daydreaming, recreating trauma in play, extreme startle responses, and diminished expectations for the future. And it may also disrupt the chemical balance in the child's brain. I learned a lot taking this class, but these two concepts particularly impacted me. And they both highlight the importance for children to experience healthy and positive youth development.